Hi, and welcome to the Health for Life podcast for those who want to build strong trucks and strong bodies. This is Kevin Muniz and Trisha Foley, your wellness team, bringing you practical tips and tricks to improve your health.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening in. February is American Heart Association month, and it's just alarming to me that heart disease is still the leading cause of death for both men and women in the US. In fact, one person dies every 36 seconds from cardiovascular disease.
And that is a shocking statistic. Now, being a trainer, I've had a few client scares myself, and I've really seen firsthand how serious and scary these things can be.
Wow. Yeah, and this is why we really wanted to dedicate this episode of our podcast to share practical things that you can do to have a healthy heart.
Oh, for sure. I think everyone knows that exercise can play an important role in heart health. In fact, any activity from doing laundry to splitting and stacking wood is going to be better than nothing. But there are certain types of exercises that are well studied and can really make a positive impact for our heart health specifically. And of course, before starting any exercise program, always get the okay from your doctor.
Yes, absolutely. And if you use the Volvo Family Health Center, definitely discuss activity with Dr. Hanks or Cassie before getting started. So, Kevin, I am really interested to hear what exercise is best when it comes to heart health.
So the good news is there are lots of options. Exercising for heart health can be as simple as strapping on some walking shoes and hitting the road. Walking is an excellent activity because it's a gateway that will lead you into the right direction of health. But let's face it, we've all been walking since we were toddlers, and eventually walking becomes more of an activity rather than an exercise.
Yes, that's a great point. I think that a lot of people probably know they need to ramp up the exercise, but the hard thing is knowing where to start.
Yeah, so let's talk about our startup goals first, and then we can cover when we need to ramp it up. So our startup goal should be 150 minutes a week of moderate to intense activity. And this would mean that you're working at a pace that would get you slightly out of breath, but still able to carry a conversation. Now, if that time goal just seems too daunting and too much for you, there is a shorter option of 75 minutes a week, but it needs to be classified as an intense activity, meaning you would be too out of breath to carry on that conversation.
Okay, that's some good information. And the good news is any duration that you do will compound over the course of the day and the week. So if you only have that 5 minutes in the morning to walk, and then you've got about 5 minutes during your lunch break and maybe at dinner too, it's going to benefit you.
Yeah, absolutely. So then once the current walking routine has become somewhat easy for you, there are ways to increase that level of difficulty to keep you getting those added health benefits. Some of those ideas could be changing the total distance that you traveled, the speed you go, adding hills, or even carrying loads like back when we talked in our functional fitness episode.
Yeah, or you could always have your dogs walk you. And I specifically said it this way because Kevin has 3 dogs, and I'm pretty sure they drag him along for their walks. But for anyone with a dog, walking is definitely a great exercise.
It's quite humorous to see my 50-pound dog and my two little 10-pound dogs taking me for a walk. But the next type of exercise we want to talk about is resistance training. This is the type of exercise that really gets your muscles pumping. And not only is this good for your heart health, it's also going to be good to strengthen your bones and ligaments and increase your resting metabolic rate, meaning you'll burn more calories in a day, which will assist you in burning more fat. And it can help regulate your blood sugar levels. So in addition to the weekly walking minutes that you get, you'll want to get a full body resistance training routine done 2 or 3 times a week. And that will really take your overall health to that next level. For a personalized routine, listeners can call or email me and I can work with you creating a personalized routine that you enjoy that you can stick with as well.
Yes, even though the gyms may not be open, you still have access to both Kevin and myself. So reach out and we definitely would be excited to hear from you.
Of course, yes. And I'm always excited to get people moving. And if you have nutrition questions, Trisha is also available 5 days a week. So speaking of nutrition, what are some good foods for heart health?
Oh gosh, that's such a great question. Well, if I had to pick two things, I'd say the type of fat you eat and your fiber intake are really important. Women should aim for 25 grams of fiber if they are under 50, and at least 21 grams of fiber if they're over 50. And then men need to aim for about 38 grams of fiber if they're under 50, and closer to 30 grams if they're over 50. And then as far as fats go, too much of the wrong kind or too little of the right kind can really impact your risk for heart disease in a negative way.
So for those listening in, can you review the types of fat and which ones are which?
Yeah, of course. So saturated and trans fats are the two that you really want to limit. In fact, you really should avoid trans fats altogether and limit saturated fat to about 7% of your total calories. Fun fact, trans fats were commonly found in shelf-stable products like peanut butter, but as of last month, they were taken out of these foods. But if you want to just double check the label, look for the word hydrogenated in the ingredients. And if it's not there, you should be good to go.
Well, that is excellent news. Getting rid of trans fats is the step in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. Now, saturated fat is mostly found in animal products, but some oils like coconut oil also contain saturated fat. And just to let you know, coconut oil is a medium chain triglyceride. You guys have probably heard of this called MCT. And MCTs are natural and they're they're really neutral for heart health. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of saturated fat in coconut oil too, compared to the amount of MCT that's in it. So it remains on that list of not the best choice for heart health. And by the way, one quick way to know if saturated fat is saturated or unsaturated is to see if it's liquid or solid at room temperature. Saturated fats are going to be solid, and then the unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature. So think of butter versus olive oil.
So I love that tip. So what are some good examples of heart healthy fats?
Yeah, heart healthy fats are in fatty fish. So if you like salmon or halibut, if you like seeds, that's another really good source, and nuts or nut butters, and also Mediterranean foods like olives and avocados.
So a practical tip to get started might be swapping out beef for salmon once a week, and then adding in some complex carbs for fiber like beans and brown rice, and then using olive oil to saute veggies instead of butter in your cooking.
Yeah, you got it. And I want to mention too that there are other ways to improve your heart health. Just generally getting a lot of color from fruits and vegetables is a great step too.
Yeah, and I think that's important to mention. So what would a heart healthy meal look like?
Actually, there's been some really good research on the Mediterranean diet. If you want a handout, let me know, email me, and I can send that to you. Care Here actually does have a great one, but generally a Mediterranean diet is going to be filled with about a fourth of a plate of fruits and another fourth of veggies. Only about an eighth of animal protein is going to be on your plate, and then the rest is rounded out by whole grains and dairy. It's big on adding lots of unsaturated fats and herbs as well, and a glass of wine if you already enjoy alcohol.
Wine. I think you just made a lot of people really happy. So what is the deal with wine and alcohol in general?
Yeah, that's a great question. And first things first, if you don't currently drink, don't start. There's just not enough research to see benefits in starting to drink alcohol. But if you do enjoy alcohol already, moderation is the key. That is really just sticking with the 6-ounce glass of wine for women and 2 6-ounce glasses for men. The jury is still really out on beer and white wine and liquor as far as being better or worse for heart health. Generally speaking, alcohol in moderation can help raise a good cholesterol called HDL, but remember, moderation is key.
I think that's some pretty reasonable and good advice. Also, caveat, you must be 21 to consume alcohol.
Yes.
But I think we have covered a lot today. For our listeners, what was your big takeaway today? Like, what actions can you start doing today to support your heart health?
Yes, good questions. And if you aren't sure, please connect with Kevin or myself to get you started in a way that's not overwhelming. You can easily schedule a health coaching session at no cost to you using our Care Here app or shoot Kevin an email.
Yes, and we'd love to hear your ideas and strategies as well. So make sure to post them on the Facebook page or our YouTube channel.
Thanks for listening, and feel free to reach out to us at tfoley@carehere.com.
Or at kevin.muniz@consultant.volvo.com. Thanks, everybody. Bye now.